Hello everybody, my name's Savannah and welcome back to my channel. Wow, it has been a long time since I have filmed a video. Well, you know, it's the end of the year, well, the school year. It's crazy and there's just a lot to be done. So I'm finally filming a video, and today I will be doing a video on all the books that I flew through. All of these books, I had to make myself stop reading these books. It was really, really difficult to put these down. And some of these are my favorite books of all time for that reason, because they were just so compelling and good. And I hope you guys decide to read some of them because they're really good, and if you just need a fast, quick-paced book, these are the ones to go to. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. The first book that I am going to show you, it's not the first book I read, but it's the one I'm going to show you first, obviously, is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now, I haven't talked that much about this book on my channel, but I read it recently and I couldn't put it down. It was really good. And I'm not huge on technology stuff, and thought, oh, this will be filled with stuff that I'm not interested in. But it was actually really good, and I did enjoy it a lot. And it was super easy to fly through, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but the cover's like floppy. Now, this is a book that I read in one day, and if you have been watching my channel for a while, you probably already know it, because every time I mention it, I seem to mention that I read it in only one day, because it was an accomplishment, I must say. So, that book is Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen, one of my absolute positive favorite books of all time. I read this during the BookTube-a-thon, and how many pages is this? Oh wow, that's a lot of pages. 469 pages in one day. It's a pretty good job for me, although I guess other people have read more books and more pages in one day than just 469. So if you're in the mood for some handsome trolls, there's only really one that's handsome, but they look different than the normal trolls. And if you're into historical stuff, well, it's not really historical, it's more fantasy, but it takes place back in the days. And if you're interested in witches and curses and magic, definitely pick this book up, because it is filled with that, and you will fly right through it, because I could barely put this book down. After that, I have a book that is renowned for being a guilty pleasure book, and what is that? Have you guessed it? It is The Selection by Kiera Cass. Most people love this book as their guilty pleasure book, and others hate it with their whole minds and souls. Some don't really care, and others have different opinions on it. So, the first 3 books in this series, I could not put down. Like, at night I would be reading it and I was like, okay, last chapter, and I got to the end of that chapter. I moved on to the next one because I wanted to see what would happen. But the first 3 books I could barely put down at night. Like I said, I keep reading it, and even if I had like school or church in the morning, I knew I had to get up early, I'd stay up really late, and I would think about these books while doing other things. Like, it was not good. These books had a hold of me, and I could not get them to release me, but I was okay with that, and they were so good, and I will never stop loving the series. The next book I'm going to show you actually is a part of a series, and all of these books I could not put down, and that is Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I love this whole series, and it was great, and I wish there were more, but the last book came out, and I read it, and it was a good ending, but I want more. Although the the spin-off series. Well, it's what happened before this series, but like the third book still hasn't come out yet. That hasn't come out yet, so hopefully it'll come out soon. I've heard it keeps getting pushed back farther and farther, and it hasn't come out yet. Hoping against hope it actually comes out this year, and I'll be able to read it before I forget everything that happened in that series. The next book is part of a duology, and that is the second book in the duology. It is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So I read Six of Crows. I liked it, but then I got this book, and oh my gosh, I fell in love with it. And look at the pages, like perfect sprayed edges. You know, all books should be like this. This just adds to the awesomeness of this book. I remember reading this book on the beach and and I remember I was with my family and well, you know, I spent my entire time reading instead of spending time with them, but you know, that's acceptable for us book nerds. I cannot talk. And I love this book so much that I actually got a phone case with a quote on it, and I'm looking at it right now. It's when you can't beat the odds, change the game. And it has this like raven and a little ball thingy with a skull, and there's like this feather at top, and then like the writing is on this scroll like paper. It's really pretty. I got it from Redbubble. So if you just look up Crooked Kingdom or Six of Crows phone cases, you'll probably find the design I'm talking about. Anyway, I know that some people say that it was slow paced, but like it's engaging and you don't want to put it down because you want to just read it because it's amazing. After that, I have Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Now, I was not expecting to love this as much as I did. I thought that, it's okay. Like, I know I started reading Marissa Meyer's Cinder and Scarlet and the Lunar Chronicles series, and I have only read Cinder and Scarlet. I really need to catch up. I'm like, okay, I'm not a huge fan of that series. It's science fiction. I'm a huge fan of science fiction, but when I picked up this, it was fantasy, and oh my gosh, I need a second book. I need more. I know what happens, but can she just give us another book this good? I'm not saying that her other books are not better. This is like the third Marissa Meyer book I've read. There could be an amazing book out there that I have no idea about that she's written, like Renegades. I haven't read Renegades yet, so I'm probably missing out without buying her things, so I plan on doing that soon. But overall, this book was fantastic. It's about the Queen of Hearts before she became the Queen of Hearts, and I loved all the characters. I want to go to Wonderland. After Heartless, we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This was one of my AR books. Heartless was also an AR book, and I obviously picked the best AR books. I read it in like 3 days, and I had to take notes on it. I couldn't put it down. It was magical and amazing, and I wanted to see what happened. My mom read this really quickly because she takes forever to read books. She read this really quickly, so that just goes to show how quickly you can complete Caraval, because it will not relinquish its goal. Okay, 2 more books left. The next book is actually another AR book. This is another recent one, actually, and Ready Player One was an AR book. And The Selection, but from last year. Oh my gosh. All of these are like AR books. This is frightening. And it is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I had no idea I was going to love this so much. I had it on my shelf. I don't know why I kept putting it off. I'm like, I don't feel like reading it right now. Well, it has the most pages out of all the books I haven't read yet, so I might as well read it for AR. Unbelievably good. I have no words. I could not put this book down. I want to go back in. This book was so good. I didn't think I would love it as much as I actually did, and I heard that A Torch Against the Night isn't as good as this one, but I hope it is. I hope I love it, because hopefully I'll love it, so I'm happy. Hopefully. And the last book is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the number one Sarah J. Maas book that kept me hooked and wanting to read more. This was really good. I read this during Booktubeathon. It was amazing. I know my family wanted to go kayaking, and I didn't, because yeah, kayaking is fun and all, but reading this book, I didn't want to spend time with anybody but myself. So it shows dedication to my books. So those are all the books that I flew through. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you decide to read some of these books that are now strewn across my floor. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!